My next guest started his career in pastoral ministry. Now, somehow that got me into politics, pastoral ministry. I'm not quite sure what happened to this guy, but he ended up on stages all over the nation and the world sharing his joyous and funny outlook on life and faith. He's been a longtime friend of mine. In fact, we used to call each other on the phone and play pranks on one another, but I'm sure we've matured since then. I certainly have, as you can tell by some of the things I say on this show. Would you please welcome the Minister of Encouragement, also known as the Swan, Mr. Dennis Swanberg.
Oh, thank you, Huck. Hey, it's the truth. I'd call Mike when we were pastors, and I'd just break into Billy Graham on the phone and say, Huck, I want you to know that we love you and we have plans for you and literature. But we've misplaced the literature, you know, and I'd mess with his secretary and everything like that. But, you know, I mean, it's easy, you know, it's better to get forgiveness than permission. So we had a lot of fun. And I grew up with voice impersonation. Watching television, I can still see that television, Grandma and Grandpa's television with a doily on top, a doily. Grandma crocheted a doily, man, a doily. Some of you young millennials, you know, doily, you don't know what a doily is. We love you through Jesus. I love my millennials. I love my millennials. Don't we love our millennials? I've got 2 millennials, you know, and I love our millennials. But may I just say something very quickly? When you write them a note, be sure to print. But anyhow, but I'd watch television, I'd pick up voices, you know, I'd watch Andy Griffith's show, man, I've always loved Barney. I watched it so much that in our little country church outside of Austin, Texas, I'd be in the back and the preacher was saying, what should we do with sin? Next thing I knew, I just broke into Barney and went, nip it in the bud. And then I got nipped in the bud. And my daddy, Floyd Leon, when he finished with me, I did Forrest Gump before Forrest Gump was ever created. I basically said, I feel like I've been bit in the buttocks, but I'd keep watching television. I'd watch Jimmy Stewart movies. I always enjoyed Jimmy Stewart. John Wayne. Can you imagine if he'd been a preacher? All kinds of things in the Bible. Smoking is in the Bible. Bible says Rebekah saw Isaac and lit upon a camel. Read your Bible, people. But anyhow, I went to Baylor University, and I was nervous about going to Baylor University because I was raised a Methodist. There's probably some Methodists here. And I was nervous about Baptist. I'd watched Baptist in Austin, Texas all my life. I mean, they go to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday night, Wednesday night, you know, prayer meeting. I mean, I don't know when they find time to sin, but they do. They're very creative. Baptists are going to get sin in. And I went to Baylor, and I really thought everybody would be going, hello, brother, how are you? Okay. I just made some Catholics happy right now. And I got there, and they weren't like that. They were normal. They didn't dance much back then. But the girls kissed real good. And I felt led to join up. I'd rather smooch than dance any day. I don't know about y'all. Next thing I knew, they had me in the baptismal pool. The baptismal pool. Put me underneath the water, wouldn't let me up till I said tithe. I remember how I left the pastorate. You know, Mike went into politics, I went into comedy. I was at First Baptist in West Monroe, Louisiana. Pretty big church. And we were on about 3 different television stations, and I was always wondering about doing this sort of full time, and I'd sneak off and go speak. Well, then I'd come back, fly back in, and I'd go home, and I'd get ready to go to bed with my sugar baby and my boys, both in bed with my woman. I go, here, go, here, here. He went, Dad, we've been sleeping with Mama the whole time you been gone. I said, well, here, go on. You got your bedroom, go sleep. Dad, I don't want to be in there in my bedroom by myself. Go in there, God's in there. He'll sleep with you. Go sleep with God. And finally, I remember I was going to go on the road. A few weeks later, I took him aside. Boys, I tell you what, if you'll sleep in your bed while I'm gone, if you'll sleep in your bed the night I get home, I'll give you a Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy. Do you hear me? A Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy. We shook on it there. Hulk Hogan. Sure enough, I flew back into Monroe, birthplace of Delta Airlines. I'm coming down our little ramp back then. I'm coming down, people in there looking at me. That's Swanberg, he's the preacher, we've seen him, you know. Some old deacon's going, they say he's gone all the time. But anyhow, you know, I'm coming down, and all of a sudden I see Laurie, Chad, and Dusty. Little Dusty, he's a little fella, he sees me, he goes, Daddy, nobody slept with Mama the whole time you were gone. You know, but you know what? If you want to laugh, just go to church. I go to about 140 events a year. You go to church. I was at church the other day at the senior adult thing, and there's these two old boys sitting over there at a table. I guarantee they're 91, 92 years old. They were up there. Well, I went over there, Huck, because I needed some new material. Maybe a new DVD. So I went on over there, and sure enough, I stood behind him, and it was solid gold. One of them, he said, Lester, yeah, Lester, yeah. Was it you? Or was it your brother that was killed in World War II? Oh, Lester went, oh, that was my brother. And the other boy said, that's what I was thinking. That's me and Huck in a few more years.
Dennis, we need to laugh more, and you helped us do that tonight. So I want to begin by saying thank you for being here and just bringing to us some real good, clean, fun humor.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed doing it. You can have a lot of fun with it. You know, I mean, like you were talking about earlier, you got the Republicans, Democrats, Independents, everybody's uptight. You know? So sometimes I'll just break into Ronald Reagan. Well, yes. No. Maybe. Well, I remember years ago, Jimmy Carter and I were having coffee with Abraham Lincoln. And, well, then I'll break into my Bill Clinton. And, you know, I was in Arkansas at Hot Springs, you know, and did stuff with President Clinton. And, you know, I mean, it was, you know, free game. We have a little bit of fun. And so sometimes I'll just do my Bill Clinton and just say, hi, pray for Hillary. But do not email her at this time, okay? You know what I'm saying?
Did people think that you had left the ministry when you went into full-time?
Well, my mother, Pauline Bernadine, she's still alive, 89. She goes, it's not the same. You stay in that church. I said, Mom, I'll be speaking to more people than I've ever spoken to before. It's not the same, and you know it. But now, she's watching, and she's going, that's my son. I can see her with their little Alfred Dunner outfit, little blouse, jacket, and the elastic goes, woo, woo. It really, Alfred Dunner, pray about it.
And a doily on the TV.
On the TV.
No doubt about it.
With the antenna with aluminum foil around it.